Hello, everyone. This is Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper. How's everybody doing this Friday evening? Can I get a 5x5? Can I get a 5x5? Anyway, I plan on having a pretty good show tonight. I say our way our world is these days, they make it easy to sit there and have a lot to talk about. Anyway, waiting for some people to filter in. Five by five. Thank you, Catherine. Anyway, yep. Welcome to Dukes of Hazzard Friday Night Live. I think that's what I'm going to call my Friday nights from now on. I think it's a good name for Friday night. Besides, when I was growing up, Friday nights was the Incredible Hulk, the Dukes of Hazzard, and Dallas on CBS. So this is going to be Dukes of Hazzard Friday night. Anyway, just waiting for some people to come on in. There should be a few. So, but I want to welcome you to Lone Wolf Prepper. This is a place where patriots can meet and voice their opinions about what's going on and what needs to be done about the problem. That's what this platform is. Back in the Revolutionary War, they had everything from the taverns to the churches where people would come and organize for the revolution. We ain't got that no more. Our churches are definitely our churches. I got a better. Am I better there, Catherine? Got my mic plugged in now. But anyway, this is a place where we can come and organize, where we can come and discuss, where we can meet, so that we're not alone. None of us are alone. We're all going through this together. Hey, Carol Prince, how you doing? Old Prepper Nurse One, he always puts on a good live stream, doesn't he? Anyway, I was just talking about this being the place for patriots to come and discuss and organize. Anyway, and then the Dukes of Hazzard. Why I called it that. Every Friday night's going to be called that, though. But, in the Dukes of Hazzard, you had obviously Boss Hogg, who was crooked. And it seemed like the only ones that knew about it were the Dukes or their friends. Then you had Sheriff Roscoe there that's completely bought and paid for. And then Enos, the straight one. Almost reminds us of our government. You got the crooked ones, and then you got the good cops convinced that everything's great. And, they're just controlled by the ones that are bad. Then you got the Duke family that are kind of the firewall. They're protecting the rest of Hazzard County from as crooked as Boss can get. Kind of like us patriots are. We're the firewall. I mean, if we weren't here with our guns and clinging to our Bibles, where would this country be right now? Well, the Bible would definitely be, religion, Christ would definitely be out of this country, and guns would be out of this country. We are the firewall. We are the ones that are going to stand up and finally not allow our government to take over. So nobody can become a slave, no matter how much they want to be. So, that's what us patriots have a hard job. But it just seems like most of the people, especially in the bigger cities, are just caught up in the new norm, which I call the twilight zone, the entitlement age. I mean, where you can steal hundreds of dollars of merchandise from a store and then go outside the store, lay a blanket down, and sell it. The store can't do nothing about it. Like, I used to think that used to be illegal, but just the new norm. Well, we all go to work and pay for this. We are the firewall. And that's why we need to organize. We need to become one unit, concentrate on who the real enemy is and instead of the enemy that the federal government keeps trying to tell us it is, whether it be Russia or Iran or China. Like I say, I don't see none of them coming over here and trying to take my rights, making it harder on me to live, except China with their cheaper products. But how come food's cheaper in Russia? I thought we were going to put the screws to them when they invaded Ukraine. Nope. Their economy's doing better. People are living better. Yeah, they're getting bombed. But I'm sure that's soon to be coming here. Like I say, we're not going to escape World War III unscathed like we escaped the other two. So, you liked Uncle Jesse, huh, Carol? Well, what was I? 13, 14, 15 when that show was on. So I don't need to say who I liked. And that's just like, when I was 13 and they had Princess Di slapped all over the TV for 6 months every single night on TV. At my age, you couldn't help but have fallen in love with her. But anyway, it was an interesting experience. Yeah, 13, I even got up and watched the wedding, and was so jealous. But anyhow, we're the firewall. Once we give in or say we've had enough and are willing to become slaves, boom. Curtain's going to come down like a hammer. Then we ain't going to stand a chance. But anyway, I want to talk about the election a little bit in the Trump trial. Now, I've never seen a bigger mess when it comes to election fraud in my life. I mean, the man's got to sit there and go to trial every day. Should be campaigning. Guilty of what? Guilty of trying to make America great again? I mean, they can trump up all this, pardon, no fun intended, but trump up so many charges on him that don't even make sense to anybody with a logical mind. I mean, let's say he is guilty of everything they say he is. Let's just say that. Okay, and so if they set a precedent and send him to jail for this, boy, that's one way to clean out D.C. now, isn't it? Treat them all the same. We can clean out that city because I'm sure a lot of them have, questionable financial transactions, whether it be getting money or giving money away. So, but we're just going to sit there and concentrate on Trump. Complete election interference. What are they doing? I mean, the more they do this, the more people are starting to, not that he's the underdog, but they're starting to feel sorry for the guy almost. This guy can't get a break for nothing. I mean, when he was in the White House, name one American that he treated like he's being treated now. One. Now, I'll say if he would have treated a few of them to the full extent of the law, he wouldn't be dealing with this right now. But he never treated anybody that way. And when they get him down, people like me are toast. If you dissent at all, I mean, heck, if they have an election and you vote for Trump, they'll probably have the paddy wagon sitting out there ready to take you to the concentration camp. Crazy thinking. See why we need the firewall? See why we need to come and organize? Anyway, on to the next. 2024, the new summer of love. All these people, I mean, it must be nice to have so much time on your hands that you can just sit there and protest all day and then go from city to city and protest. Bunch of angry mobs. I mean, does anybody remember 2020 riots? Kyle Rittenhouse? You know, I guess that's on our side. He protected himself. But all the mayhem they created and murder and rape, billions of dollars in damage, going to jail and getting let out early. Right, Kamala Harris? It's going to be far worse this time. That was just over George Floyd. They got a lot more to be mad about now. You know, that's all they do is they sit around and think of stuff to get upset about. Then they all get nuts. Not rational nuts, crazy nuts. But it would be nice to see a little bit of that passion on the Patriot side, to the point where they realize that we're willing to go through any lengths to get our country back. Talk about May 5th. I didn't hear no talk about May 5th. I don't, you know, the thing was, they're always trying to get us to be afraid of something. When I start hearing stuff like that, I just turn it off. I am not going to listen to no more of be afraid. Be afraid. I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm prepared. Bring it on. That's mine. Bring it on. Because I'll live a lot happier after SHTF than I am now. And I'm not saying I'm not happy now, but it's the thought that I always got this tyrannical government looking over my shoulder, watching everything I do. You know, they can't find these scammers. They can't track them at all. But anything I do, they have a perfect record of it, where I was at, everything. But they can't catch the scammers. Starting to wonder if they ain't government funded and the government gets kickback from it. That's just starting to be my opinion, because I don't know, you can't track. But yeah, I know, Carol, you're not afraid. I mean, if we're all prepared, I mean, you're always prepared. Learning new skills. Learn how to use your equipment better. You know, constantly training with your firearm. That type of stuff. Okay? But, you know, it shouldn't be nothing to be afraid of. Just let it come on. But all this fear, they try to be scared of this. It seems like every other day there's something new to be afraid of. You know, I'm not afraid. I worry about this country. I worry about, you know, the border, the invasion that's happening. I mean, this ain't even a Trojan horse invasion. This is flat out an invasion. The debt that we have. Yeah, distractions. Absolute distractions. You know, when we need to be concerned about, hey, we're going to have an election here in November, and the country's going to probably completely blow up after that. I mean, it's going to get crazy. Because if Trump wins, the left is going to go crazy. And if they try to say Biden wins, I don't know about this election. Robert Kennedy Jr. in it now and stuff. It's going to be a SHIT show. And the only ones that are going to sit there and figure it out at the end are the lawyers in the courts. You know, lawyers are going to make a bunch of money and the courts are going to figure it out. Or, you know, like last time, the press is just going to announce the winner a couple of days later. We're just all going to have to go with that. You know, Pennsylvania, 600,000 votes Trump was ahead by on November 3rd, and November 4th he lost. Well, like I say, they just got to repeat all that stuff to make sure it wasn't a fluke and cheating. They'll have to do all that all over again. Right, Michigan? 375% one precinct voter turnout? That's pretty good. Minnesota, 105% voter turnout. Yep. And the extra 35% was all for Biden. It's crazy how that happens. Okay? But, you know, country's going to blow up. I don't see any way around it. Now, if Kennedy were to win, which I think is possible, you know what they say, 45% or something like 46% of the voting populace doesn't like Democrats or the Republicans. But, you know, I don't believe Kennedy's a good candidate either. He's, you know, none of them understand what our constitutional rights are. The only thing they understand is how to control them, how to try to convince us that they're in control of them. No. And he's just another one of them. Now I want the government out of my life. I want a candidate that comes in and says, you know what? I'm going to get rid of a few of my secretaries because I don't need them. Like the Secretary of Education, that's obviously not working since the federal government took over. Goodbye. Department of Homeland Security, you're obviously not doing your job. Goodbye. The FBI, the CIA, you know, the federal government is not allowed to have a federal police force. But I guess they don't have to obey that law either. CIA, IRS, which was completely passed under, you know, very shaky, crooked, corrupt ways, okay? Yeah, just imagine if we didn't have the IRS, how much control they would have over us. Wouldn't it be crazy? If you didn't have to give none of your money to the for your paycheck to the government, that your pay was strictly between you and your boss, and that is it. Now they got to get involved. And then you got to give money to Social Security. I am forced to give to a retirement fund that I probably ain't going to get no money out of. And if I do, it's not going to be the return I should have got. Are they going to force us all to have 401ks too when Wall Street starts completely falling off a cliff? They're going to sit there and take out, I don't know, 10% of our check that we got to stick in Wall Street because the government doesn't have a slush fund that they can fill that up no more? You know, don't remember, we're still in charge of the repo market. We're on the hook for that. So that hasn't changed. But, you know, that's a good thing why the pandemic came out to kind of cover that up, huh? Then they sit there throwing money around, which brings me to Bidenomics. That fool is out there saying that it's working. Then again, I realize the president, usually doesn't live in the real world and have to go grocery shopping and fill his limousine up with gas or pay for the gas, the fuel in Air Force One and stuff. I realize that. But is he lost? Taking money from me and give it to somebody that doesn't deserve it isn't improving my life or their life. Okay? It's just making them dependent and me pissed off. Bidenomics. $1 trillion in debt every 100 days. Really? If we're doing so good, how come we can't pay our bills? I mean, we should at least, if we're doing so great, should have to stop going in debt today and then be able to start paying it off. No, we're still going in $10 billion in debt every day. But don't worry, the economy's doing great. He ain't gonna be able to say that when the U.S. dollar isn't reserve currency no more. I don't think people realize what's going to happen then. I mean, it's going to turn us into a third world country overnight. The credit markets are going to freeze up. If you have debt, they're going to want their money. I mean, it's just going to be a bad time. And then we become a third world country overnight, and they can't fill their EBT cards no more in the Health and Human Services Department. Well, I guess the Department of Agriculture does the EBT. But, when they can't fill their money cards and they can't just go to the doctor because their big toe hurts because we got to pay for it no more. When all that stuff stops, that's going to be one heck of a show for us to watch because of course I'll be out here, but I'll be on YouTube watching it. Just remember, what was it, 2 years ago? Maybe 2.5 when EBT went down for that weekend it was or whatever. And the videos people were putting on there. How dare they? How could that happen? They couldn't take care of themselves. Well, ding, 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 ding. Number one. I mean, they should have learned right there that, I guess the government ain't always going to be here for us. So, but until the freebies, until they keep getting their hands keep getting failed, they're all good to go. What are we? 3 meals away from anarchy? What am I going to do? I'm just going to come out here and enjoy myself. I'll be eating good. I ain't going to be stressed out. And if you're dependent on the government, I don't know, for your medication. I mean, the dollar loses its reserve currency. Do you think we're going to have Medicare and Medicaid anymore? No. Social Security? No. You know who's really going to take a hit? The vets. That's the last group they care about. All this stuff you go in and you're basically promised. Promise this and promise that, and you get out and you got to sit there and fight for everything that you were promised. Kind of like our rights, constitutional rights. They expect we got to sit there and defend them. While they sit there and try to take them, we got to come up with reasons why we still should have them. Well, it's easy the reason we should have them. God granted to us, and our founding fathers set up a government to protect it, to make sure that nobody or nothing can ever take it away from us. Yeah. Plenty of beans, rice, and bullets. What are you supposed to do? These people can't wake up. They can't see it. I saw it 30 years ago. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I was like, oh my God, has the world changed? I mean, it's like I went through a time warp. Going in when Ronald Reagan was in office and coming out when Bill Clinton was in office. Wow. That was whiplash. I mean, it's not like you never came home on leave But I admit that I always went back early because I just like the Marine Corps that much. But I guess you didn't pay attention that close. And then when I got out, and it's like, bam, boy, everything's changed. People were ruder. I didn't remember money being, I don't know. It went from being a good person to being a rich person, it seemed like. That's when keeping up with the Joneses was a thing. I never understood it. But then again, I'm a simple guy with simple pleasures. I was once told that, which makes life a lot more enjoyable. Well, thank you, Carol. But we always got told. I volunteered, and I want to serve my country in the best possible manner I could. So, I pushed myself, and I was on the ground side. But we were always told there we got thanked twice a month. That's when we got paid. But I appreciate it. But you know, the service that I serve, my service isn't over yet, is what I'm trying to say. This country has problems. I can't just fade away. I mean, Oliver Anthony came out with that song, and it just motivated me to get on YouTube and start talking. I wonder who else that song motivated to get off their duff. I mean, I was sitting out here just relaxing out in the middle of nowhere in my bug out location. Just, hey, I am set now. Let it come. But that song came out, and it stirred something in me. I mean, I sat there and watched reactions to that song for about 3 days. And after the second day, I had to make that video about Oliver Anthony. I know it's Christopher, but he goes by Oliver, and that's how I first met him. But it just motivated me and realized that, this guy got out. He was nobody. But what was he doing the music for? To get him through his depression, get him through dealing with this stuff we all deal with every day. He got to his music, and I love some of his songs. I mean, that song, I don't have a dollar, but I don't need a dime. That's me. Okay. I love that song. Simple. When you don't want to covet anything that's your neighbor's, and you're not jealous of your neighbor, it's so easy to get along with your neighbor. If you're not jealous of him, it's hard to find a reason to hate him, no matter what his personality's like. I mean, I've been in rooms with a lot of different people, and I never had a problem getting along with any of them or any nationality. Okay. I played pool in the basement on the reservation when I was the only white boy in that basement. And I got along just fine. Some of my best friends. Okay. But anyway, Bidenomics. Anybody, and then one fact I heard today, less jobs than what they expected were formed this week or this month, about 175,000, which will be reduced down to about 140,000, which they won't tell nobody. Okay. Yeah, jobs for illegals. I got solved the unemployment problem so fast. Kick them all out. That would give us about 12 to 15 million jobs that were open, and cut off the welfare office. Like I say, if there's more jobs and there are people looking for jobs, or more people that can be employed in this country, then I don't understand why we got a welfare program. I'm not trying to be hard on people that feel they deserve it or they need it, or no, they need it. Okay? Then get your life together and get off it. But people who feel they deserve it because they're breathing, they're entitled. No, I didn't hear about Tyson, Carol. What are they doing now? They run out of chickens or something? I don't know. We've been really busy lately with Brandon calves and preg checking and stuff. So I put in some pretty long days. And like I say, it's not like I get service everywhere where I could put on my earbuds and just listen to it while I'm in the back filing the cows through. But, that's one thing in a commercial. Can you hear me now? No. I don't get cell phone. I got internet at the house, but I don't got cell phone service at my house. I got to go to the top of a hill to get cell phone service. And believe me, I've done plenty of complaining, but we're flyover country. So when we're busy here, I kind of fall behind on the current events. So what happened at Tyson, Carol? Anyway, but did everybody hear about House Bill 6090 that passed the House of Representatives? Making it anti-Semitic bill. I don't believe we have an anti-Semitic problem in this country with Americans. I believe we have an anti-Semitic bill problem with people that aren't Americans in this country. But the thing is, everybody, that sounds good. Sounds good. Gets the door open. Then they can start passing all sorts of hate crime bills, legislating, you can't say this, you can't say that. Basically getting rid of the First Amendment. No. I'm not for that thing at all. Why can't people just be good? You can't legislate people to be good. You can't legislate people not to be racist or anti-Semitic. You can't do it. Okay? And he just another sit there dog and pony show. Here, we're doing something. The Jews are being mistreated. Well, if we just enforce the laws we have, the people that are mistreating them, don't we have hate crimes now anyway? Enforce the laws on the people that are mistreating them for what would be assault or whatever, I know there's not a microaggression law against conservatives, but there's a microaggression law against liberals, I think. Anything that'll completely set them off. Go off to the left, go off to the right. But anyway, that's just a bad idea. And then they just try to sell it and spin it. I mean, the House of Representatives, not only do we have a presidential election coming up, okay, but the House of Representatives, the legislative branch, that is supposed to be a firewall against the tyrant. Well, they're part of the whole thing. So we're going to replace all of them with the ones that are still doing it or the new ones that can be bought. Why do we keep still electing these people? We got terrorists in Congress. Omar from Minnesota. AOC from New York. Really? It's crazy. Kind of neighborhood you got to be in where you sit there and elect basically a terrorist who's against anything the government, the American stands for. Well, that's right, because most Americans don't stand for what America stands for no more. So, anyway. Coming up on 35 minutes here. There's lots to discuss about the world. Completely falling apart. Like I say, after this next election, If Biden doesn't win it during the lame duck, I mean, if it all comes to where Trump is elected and it's going to go through and there ain't going to be no thing, even if, like they threaten not to certify the vote, okay? They will pass a lame duck bill. Oh, that I bet you will give Ukraine enough money for 4 years to fight the war. And if Biden wins, it probably won't be that much. We can't afford this. We can't afford none of this. People dying and we're doing nothing about it. We're just paying for it. Paying for it. Leslie Graham, why don't you sit there and go over there, you little. I've never seen more of a beta male than Lindsey Graham. Now there is a beta male. Talking tough behind, while he's standing behind strong people. The best money ever spent was the money to kill Russians. Well, you know what? The Russians probably think the same way too. The best money ever spent is the best money killing the U.S. federal government. I'm not even going to say the American people. The U.S. federal government. Because I would bet that the majority of the American people would have nothing to do with this Ukraine war. Oh, in fact, I do know that. In this Israel-Hamas, that's both sides of the fence. At least in Ukraine and Russia, we're only funding Ukraine. We're not giving money or bullets to Ukrainians to shoot Russians and then giving first aid to Russians so they can sit there and patch up their bullet wounds from our bullets. Crazy time. Crazy time. Anyway. Well, this is Dukes of Hazzard Friday Night Live. Anyway, looks like we're kind of slim. Now I'm really trying to get my channel promoted. I don't know how to do it. Boy, they can clam up the truth. I mean, you know what our First Amendment's being squashed by? A computer program, an algorithm. Human beings don't even have to look at it no more. Programming computers to a human being's bias. That wasn't the way I was taught to program computers. But I guess that's a new way of doing it. Shutting us up. I do put in time on Lone Wolf Prepper. I want to spread the word. I'm not here to get rich. I'm here to spread the word and get organized and get the Patriots ready for the Lexington Concord moment that's going to be coming. That's what I want to do. And they don't want to do nothing but shut me up. I just don't understand what I am saying is so offensive. I mean, I had to listen to the truth my whole life from everybody. That's all I got told. You have to hear the truth. And that's maybe why I don't really care what comes out of my mouth when it's the truth. And who has a problem hearing it? Because I had to hear it. But if you don't hear the truth, you don't know what the problems are. You ain't gonna see a problem. Like Hunter Biden's laptop. What laptop? Hillary Clinton and her servers. Boy, I just can't believe I had a clearance, okay? I know what you go through for a clearance, and I know the paperwork you sign. Basically saying, hey, they can sit there and kill you if you sit there and give secrets away or, unsecured. Oh, no, not them. No, they're above the law. And then sit there and smash their phones, and it's just crazy. Joe can sit there and store classified material, which he wasn't even supposed to have, in his garage next to his Corvette. And the FBI can't see nothing wrong with that. Kind of like Hillary Clinton. Well, she didn't mean to break the law. Really, that's all. And like these protests, I guess they don't mean to be breaking the law, but they're mostly peaceful protesting, right? But Trump, oh my God, he may have done something crooked with his money. For one thing, I don't care. If we want to care about that, maybe we need to care about what John F. Kennedy did in the side room out of the Oval Office. Going after him for stupid stuff because that's all they got. They've been going after this man now for, God, how many years? It's 2015, 2014. And then when he ran was in 2012 when he was thinking about running. I mean, 12 years for sure. He's been in the spotlight since the 80s, probably since the 70s, the 80s when I first started knowing about him. What are they going to possibly find on this guy that everybody don't know about him already? People love being around him. People are drawn to him. That's what happens, when people see a strong male figure or a strong human being. They go to him. Okay? And they're trying everything to do to tear him down. All I know is if he gets in office, he better correct this immediately. There better be laws passed that ensure that this never happens again. I mean, if we got to sit there and pass laws that say marriage is between a man and a woman, just like they want to pass these laws. I know it's not in the Constitution, but either is abortion. Or maybe we need to have a convention of states. I don't know. That just opens the doors for them be able to bring all this goofy stuff in. Because I believe if they had a convention of states, that would just be taken over by all the swamp creatures, just like the Tea Party was. Remember that? Until they just dissolved it. That's one thing about a convention of states. Everything's on the table then, good and bad. We just need to have whatever it takes to reinstate the Constitution we have now with the amendments, all the amendments. Okay. That's one thing about, we had 10 amendments at first. And the reason we got more amendments is the country grew closer, getting rid of slavery and stuff. They couldn't have an amendment. To form this country, slavery had to happen. A lot of founding fathers, they had slaves, but they knew they had to get rid of it. We don't understand what it's like to go to a slave auction. We'll never understand that. But that was the culture back then. And it was wrong. And we improved the way human beings were, and we became better. And we righted that problem with a lot of white men getting killed. Okay? Just like now, we're at a point where I'll say the whole human race has taken a left turn into craziness. And the firewall, us, are the ones that can stop it. Okay? Who was the firewall in World War II? So Hitler couldn't take over the world. The Allies. That was the firewall. The good against the evil. Okay? So us being patriots and being that firewall, we have to protect, I don't want to say ignorant, the misinformed, and the weak. One purpose of the strong is to protect the weak. Okay? If we stop protecting them, then they're going to go to what they think is protecting them. And that would be the federal government. That's not going to work. So, evil always protects evil. Yep. And the thing about evil, good and evil. When did good and evil come to this planet? Even if you don't believe in the biblical sense of it, When did good and evil come to this planet? When human beings came here. Whether you want to look at religiously or non-religiously. Because before human beings were here, I don't think the animals were screwing the other animals over on purpose. That just isn't part of nature. You know, in my nature videos, see, I have just nature communing with each other. Okay? So good and evil didn't come until human beings were on this planet. So, it's not a good thing to put in the gold star for the human beings. Oh, I got a dog going off. I don't know what he's barking at. Just hold a second. They're gonna stop. Anyway, good and evil. And people just gravitate towards evil. Pleasures of the flesh. Why there's so many pleasures of the flesh. Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, the way Rome was before it really fell. Where children were used like they are now. Exact same thing. Yeah, evil will exist. But, this is the thing. How would we know what good is if we didn't have evil? See, this is a catch about it. You almost need one to have the other. But people like evil more than good, because good, you have to be responsible for yourself. Evil, you really don't. And you get to indulge in pleasures of the flesh. So the human race comes to a point where the good has to sit there and take over again for a while. We're not going to drown out evil, but, we get good for all that time. People get lazy. People get comfortable. People don't want to hurt other people's feelings. Then evil gets a foothold and it takes over. Okay? And that's what's happening. This human nature. But, I just can't believe people haven't had enough. I thought people would have had enough. The pandemic. Shutting the churches down. No Easter 2020. Remember that? They didn't want us to gather for Thanksgiving or Christmas. But they could be out protesting without masks. But, okay, let's stay to the subject. I thought for sure that would have brought it on. All this Second Amendment stuff. People getting shot down in the street by the FBI, the ATF. I'm sure the IRS will be the next ones. Shooting people down. Don't remember, they spent a lot of money on guns too. Why the hell does the IRS need armed agents? Control? Yeah. The thing is, like I said, control's an illusion. The only reason a person controls you is because you allow them to. You can look at them and say, bye-bye. If they push it further, then you have the right to take equal action against them. Okay? Nobody will control me. I followed orders for 8 years faithfully of men I respected. Okay? And you expect me to respect anybody that's in D.C. now? Not even going to come close to happening. So, but they sure want to push it on us, right? That's, these campuses that are exploding in chaos. Well, maybe they should have handled it like Texas did. Texas don't seem to be having a problem with campuses now after they put their foot down, didn't let it happen, and expelled the students that were doing it, and don't allow them anywhere on a Texas campus again. Wow. They got punished for what they did, and it solved the problem in Texas. Yeah, respect is earned. It's not easy to earn it. When I had men under me in the Marine Corps, they would have followed me through hell. I mean, I really cared about them, and they knew it, and they respected me, and some of them brought me into when they had to make a tough decision in life. Kind of like the big brother. I ain't gonna say a father, that ain't the word for it, but the big brother. That's what I was looked up as, the big brother. But that means I got down and dirty with them. That means the rules that I made, I followed myself. I remember one time, my rule was, being late for formation wasn't accepted. But there were times where, at the time where it happened, okay? And if you were late, just a lot of other things going on. I'm not saying it was, but anyway, you had to do a push-up for everybody in the platoon, okay? And then one time, I had so much to do, and I called the formation a couple hours before, and boy, was I booking to get there. And I got there 10 seconds late, and I got down and did a push-up for everybody. That's where it comes. If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me. Okay? They came first. I didn't come first. That's how you earn respect. Get in the trenches with them. Do as I say, not as I do. I hate that crap. That's what makes America weak. They're so used to putting themselves on a pedestal over somebody. I have lots of people in charge of me that have enjoyed being my boss. So, whatever. I work hard and I get taken advantage of sometimes. But I'm in a good place now, so. But anyway. Well, I was expecting more people tonight because I really want to get this channel going. I want to get the word out. I can't live in this another 40 years. I can't do it. Biden gets office. It's time to head to the mountains. Digital currency takes over. It's definitely time to head up to the mountains. I wish we could all get together and stop fighting with each other. Stop listening to the government about how we're different. And realize, everybody hates it when they get hit in the pocketbook. Well, everybody's getting robbed. If you got a job, you're getting robbed every paycheck. Before you even get that money, you're getting robbed. Since when is somebody else allowed to take money out of your paycheck before you get it? Oh, the IRS has to go. Has to go. No. Our military on the battlefield right now, I'm afraid. To train somebody to charge a machine gun, this is the thing, which makes us so crazy and why people don't understand us. To train somebody to sit there and charge a machine gun nest when you're being told to, with bullets flying at you, and just saying, aye, aye, and taking off and doing it, okay? That's not something that, just happens overnight. And it's something that when you click a person on like that, you can't turn them off. I always say you can turn a civilian into a Marine, but you can't turn a Marine back into a civilian, okay? But to teach somebody to do that, and then for them to do it unquestionably, and then as you go through the ranks, to be able to order somebody to do that. you know, friendship doesn't matter. You know, it's whatever. And this is why women in combat ain't gonna work. Okay. I got a squad of 13 and I got a couple women in there, and I'm in love with one of those women. There's no way I'm gonna give her an order to charge a machine gun nest over somebody I don't love. Among all the other problems it will bring. But it can't happen. Now, if we're on our own soil, we're being attacked on our own soil, that's different. Okay. And I think a lot of women today would be out there on the front lines. Old, young, it ain't gonna matter. You're a patriot, you believe in the United States of America and freedom and liberty, you'll be out there. But we need to organize everybody. We need to get the word out. We need to find some way to combat this. I mean, even people that got a lot of subscribers now are getting shadow banned so bad. My channel's growing slowly, here and there, a couple every day. But, it just won't do the jump. Because they got it just complete control. Where else are you supposed to go? I can't start up a newspaper. I mean, I love YouTube as a platform because nobody has to pay to hear me. I don't want to have to go to these other platforms that have subscription fees every month. Okay? You shouldn't have to pay to hear the truth. I never had to pay to listen to Walter Cronkite when I was growing up. Okay? When I was growing up, actually, I remember watching Muhammad Ali fight Leon Spinks on a Sunday night on regular TV, CBS. Oh, yeah. I realized that was back in the 70s. But see, that's the thing. Once the big money starts getting into stuff, then we all got to sit there and pay for what used to be free. But I don't want to go to those other platforms. I want to make it here on YouTube, or unless they cancel me, which I can't believe they haven't done yet. I mean, they're obviously monitoring my videos. Like Prepper Nurse 1 said, I had problems loading some of my videos last night. I don't, maybe it was just a YouTube glitch, but the processing, usually, like I say, it takes a minute. And it was just like, it wouldn't process. And then it wouldn't load. It was just weird. Like I said, that could be a computer glitch. But, censored by a computer program. They program the parameters into it, their own bias, and then it, buries you. If you start getting too popular, they'll bury you. YouTube or the social platforms will never let another Oliver Anthony happen again, unless it's for the other side, the liberals. What kind of song would a liberal write, believing what they do, that would come close to Richmond, north of Richmond? I would hate to hear it. It'd probably be an extremely poorly put together, badly worded rap song. I don't know, but they couldn't make it. Well, we want the borders open so we can sit there, flood America with illegals. I believe every child. I mean, what kind of lyrics could you come up with? Like I say, that's what motivated me to get on YouTube and do something about this. And I'm going to keep going. I'm sorry, YouTube, I got too much to say. I can talk and I can talk and I can talk. I got to live in this mess. What you're trying to say is so much better. So much better than what? Better than 4 years ago? I was pissed off at the country 4 years ago. I was pissed off at the country 8 years ago. I was pissed off at the country 12 years ago. Does anybody remember the fiasco with 2000. You know the sign I put outside my window when I lived in Minnesota? After that, they couldn't decide who was president. I put a sign outside my window, President-elect Jesse Ventura. You know, he was governor of the state at that time. You know, he got governor, he's populist governor. Okay? Took it away from the two candidates that thought they had it in the bag. So, you know, that's a mess. Look how long we've been dealing with it. I was really upset in 2000. That whole fiasco made the whole country look stupid. I don't like being embarrassed as an American. When I traveled the globe as a Marine, I always held my head high. And they always said, never do anything to embarrass the United States of America. What do we got going on now? Nothing but embarrassment. I mean, we have slipped into a banana republic. All I know is when Trump gets into office, I mean, he's going to win. It's just hands down. Democrats are pissed at the way things are going. They feel they may have been scammed. Yep. Well, I've been pissed longer since Biden, like say since 2000. 2000 when I really started getting upset with politicians. I really started paying attention because I'm like, how can this go on? We can't even have an election, you know. And then, you know, I guess the Democrats will then back. Oh, Trump wasn't supposed to challenge the election, right? Boy, the Democrats sure weren't that way in 2000, were they? But just another, it's just a show that's going on. I mean, what can Trump do right? You know, keep us out of wars. He gets in office. Is illegal immigration going to stop that next day? If I was in office, it would. The laws would be enforced immediately. You know why? Because that would be my job. That's what the Constitution would charge me to do. And if I don't do my job, what the Constitution charges me to do, then I shouldn't be in that office doing it. I don't care how somebody feels about it. When you're at your job and you're in charge and you're responsible for something and one of your subordinates don't like it, does that change your mind on how you're going to do it? No, because you know you'll be fired otherwise. All I know is they don't have to secure the borders, but they feel they have the right to take our guns or restrict our guns. You know, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So we got a 3-letter agency that regulates our Second Amendment. Crazy time. Don't regulate mine. You know, all these unconstitutional laws, anything against the Second Amendment, anything, any law is unconstitutional, shall not be infringed. And that, you know, and if you break the law with a gun, then you get your rights taken from you. See, that's how it works. But law-abiding citizens should be allowed to protect themselves. Well, every American should be allowed to protect themselves. Because believe it or not, even criminals now are going to become victims. And I'm not talking, you know, major criminals. I'm talking, you know, petty crimes, or maybe, you know, I don't say non-victimless crime, whatever. But you know, even criminals are going to start being affected by this. Okay, and they have a right to protect themselves. When America blows up in the Civil War or Revolutionary War or whatever form it takes, we can't be picky about who the patriots are. They believe in freedom, liberty, your God-given rights, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, and they're a patriot. You know, so it's It's going to be a tough time. There's going to be a lot of acceptance on both sides, and that's why we need to start talking now, getting comfortable with people that we're uncomfortable with. Remember, in the revolution, everybody, the 13 colonies thought they were 13 different states. I mean, could you imagine Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. all getting on the same page and fighting fighting for their liberty and freedom? I mean, it was tough. I mean, you read some of the stuff from those soldiers. They didn't like each other, but they hated King George worse. You know, so that's what it's going to come down to. No, I'm at a minute, hour and 5 minutes. Yeah. Well, I didn't lose mine in a boating accident, but I just hope that everybody's ready to defend. When the war comes, it's going to be tough. You know, if you got to take a life, it's not going to be easy. Just remember, they want to take yours too, and they want to enslave you. You know, that's what on the battlefield where you're able to take somebody's life you don't even know. Don't even know the person. But you know, if you don't, he'll take yours. So, you know, I don't wish what's coming on anybody. I say we don't have a choice anymore. I won't be a slave. I refuse to be a slave. Never in my life will I be a slave. And I never would have owned one. I believe in God when He gave us a freedom of choice. Now, how you how you determine how you're going to use that gift from God, you know, that you go good or evil. But anyway, it's coming time for evil, for light, the good, to start overtaking this evil. I mean, I feel I've been pushed in a corner enough. Yep. So, but I'm going to cut this off. I appreciate everybody being here. We're going to grow. It's going to take a while. You know, it's not like YouTube, 10, even 6 years ago, you started up a channel, and before all this stuff got crazy, they allowed it to grow before all the shadow banning and stuff. So, but I'm trying to get it to grow. Trying new ways to sit there and try to get around the algorithm. But the one thing I'm not going to do is shut my mouth and start talking like they want me to talk. If they want that, they're going to have to just, kick me off YouTube. That's fine. Because I can just sit out here like I did before Oliver Anthony came out with that song. And, live a life and not have to worry about when shit gets crazy. Because I'll be out here safe. Oh, I started up on YouTube during the pandemic. Back in 2021, I did a quick video. And I didn't do another video until about, when was it? Well, it was when Oliver Anthony came out. Was that 9 months ago? What was that? September, August, or something of last year? Maybe July? I can't remember when it was. But, it motivated me. I feel guilty. I honestly feel guilty for having it made in a way that I don't have to worry about stuff getting stupid. We have a, extinction level event. Then I have, well, what's there to worry about? I'm going to be dead. I'm going to meet my maker, which isn't, it's a lot better than living here right now. But living out here, I shouldn't have to feel guilty about living peaceful. Everybody should have that. Whether you're in New York City or out here in the sticks. The oldest person needs to be able to walk down the darkest alley in the middle of the night and be safe. Somebody tries to harass them, their fellow citizens should come out and stand up for them. Just like when the feds show up at your neighbor's house to shoot down somebody at 6 in the morning. Neighbors need to get together and shoo them out of your neighborhood. They ain't coming for you yet, but they will be. So, yeah, I prefer the sticks too. You're in a big city. Please get out. Even if you have your guns, if you got 1,000 people coming down the street, your history, okay? Unless you got a machine gun, but the barrel gets hot. It's not like the movies where you go nonstop and the belt just keeps bleeding. Okay, there's sustained rates of fire and stuff. Machine guns. You ain't gonna survive. And then it's too late to say, I wish I would have got out. You're gonna have to make sacrifices now to give yourself a better future, to save your life in the future. There's still lots of open area here. Get out. Off the East Coast. I don't feel comfortable around people, period, okay? I just get bad vibes from them. People, they walk through like zombies through the stores and stuff, like Walmart. It's like me moving cows down the alleyway, going into the chute. That's what people are like. Walking through the store and then going through the self-checkout because they won't have checkouts no more. Going through the chute, out you go. Deposit your money at the door. Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath. That's because it's going to be a personal war. We all, patriots, have been pushed around and screwed over for so long that when it starts, some of them might lose a little control. That happens when your anger builds so much and you get that release point. But they're pushing for it because they think they're going to survive it. What politician in their right mind, thinks they're going to survive 300 plus million people pissed off at them? Oh, not only 300 plus million people, because when we become a third world country and EBT ain't good no more, then the other half is going to get pissed off at them. Well, let's not forget about the foreign countries. So we're talking billions of people. Oh, where are they going off now? My puppies. Like I say, you see that behind me? That's my dream shift. After SHTF, that's what I'm going to be building. That's my dream, and my dream will come true. I'm not going to need nobody's help to do it. That's what type of prepper I am. That's enough dogs. Anyway, I'm still going. I could sit here and talk and talk and talk. Anyway, I better turn this off. But anyway, from now on, I plan on going Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday and Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Mountain Time and 8 o'clock on Dukes of Hazzard Friday Night Live. Okay. That way I miss, the shows I want to listen to. That's one thing about being a creator. You don't get to be a fan like you want to. Okay. Next time dogs go outside. But I don't get to be a fan like I want to. I don't get to listen. 7 of them. Yeah. Well, they're my security. They can hear everything out here. So, but anyway, this lone wolf prepper is gonna get off of here, but I'll be around Monday again at 7 o'clock. I'm sure there'll be a lot to discuss. Maybe we can slow down a little bit. I can catch up on the news somewhere. So anyway, but I appreciate everybody being here. Spread the word. This is a place for patriots to hang out, to discuss things, what's wrong, and what we can do to fix the problem. And the number one thing we need to do is organize. But anyway, everybody have a good night. This is Lone Wolf Prepper out.